But hey, somebody else is in pretty good shape. He's been doing wind sprints. That's Brian Norris. He's ready for the 2-minute warning.
It's time.
Oh, man, it is time. And, boy, first round of the playoffs is always kind of wild and exciting. And we had some interesting matchups tonight. We're going to take you to 1AA, where both East Carteret, with their anchor on the back, and Riverside were in action tonight. Let's start with the Riverside Knights, who have had such a really good season. They were in action tonight, taking on Manteo. And, boy, big first half for Riverside is Mr. Belcher's going to find a Sean Belcher for Brandon Beach finds a Sean Belcher for the touchdown, and Riverside rolls in this one, not even close. They celebrate the big victory, 48-13. So Riverside moves on. They'll travel to second seed Princeton next week. Meanwhile, East Carteret back in the 1AA playoffs. They hosted Hobton, and those Wildcats, well, they wouldn't stand a chance against the Mariners, who came out and looked good early on. Drew Doyle right into your living room as he finds his man, Mr. Jordan, and then BJ says, hey, Drew, try keeping it yourself this time. And East Carteret, no problems tonight. They advance to the second round. Nice fake on the option, 44-13. Next up, they get to take on Holmes, the Aces, next Friday night. Some other 1AA playoff scores for you. South Stanley beats Lakewood, so they will play at Tarboro in the second round, and it will be North Stanley with a big win over Lewisburg, 70-0. They'll play at Granville Central in the second round as well. We've got a bunch more highlights to show you, but first, why don't we take you into the Zebra Zone? It's playoff time.
Guys, congratulations on the first half, the first round of playoffs for high school tonight, guys. Number 50 is going to be speaking captain for blue, 45 for white. Okay? Coin toss, tails, heads. Tails, heads. All right, call it. If we drop it, we're going to do it again. What you want, heads or tails?
Otherwise, we're not going to get to that South Creek touchdown that tells them. Yeah, that's right. We got them labeled here, and sometimes I just got to find them.
I'm ready for some playoff football on News Channel 12! Yeah!
All dressed up with places to go.
Oh, look at me. Give me a thumbs up.
But you need your invitation for this postseason party. Time to find out who's being asked to leave early on this first round playoff edition of the Blitz.
What's your call?
Several teams danced with their same dates. James Keenan and Clinton tangled for the second straight week. Northside and Southside had a Beaufort County Battle Royale. Take two. Ayton Grifton and Kinston did a second K-Town go-round. And Northside and Havelock did a little do-si-do. Time to find out if it's deja vu or alternate outcomes that will blow your mind.
Hey, the Blitz starts now!
Playoff time!
Playoff?
One of the craziest nights of the year when we try to jam in 8 million highlights, 47,000 scores.
80 million miles.
And make it all make sense. Yeah, I hope you had a nice drive tonight, right? Maybe you were driving a Barber Hendrick Honda tonight. They're the sponsor of our Blitz Premier matchup, and we're going to take you to the second year in a row, Richlands and West Craven meeting in the 2AA playoffs. And, well, it wasn't very close. That's because West Craven is starting to peak here at the right time of the year. Dontrell Hill, 3 touchdowns in the first half. The big boy couldn't be stopped. Coach Boley says, well, let's see if they can stop our single wing. Thumbs up. Let's do it again. Single wing. Thumbs up. Yeah, twice as nice, but they cough it up. And that would be picked up by Christian Coons. Little George gets it. And the kids say, come on, Silas Wallace. We want to see number 10 have a big game, and he did. Silas, look at him go. Gonna bang his way in for his second touchdown of the night. Mike Twitchell remaining calm on the sidelines as he says, you know what? I like the way we're playing right now. Wallace is going to score again, and West Craven almost got the shutout, let a late touchdown in. They win at 36-8 and peaking at the right time.
Yeah, I thought since the loss to Kinston, we've been a different ball club. And we played better and better on offense each and every week. Defensively, we're getting better. We're still holding people to 0-1 score. So right now, I think we're playing our best ball at the right time.
That they are, and they're feeling good. So next up, they're going to play the winner of Bunn and Hertford. And who won that game? It was all Hertford Bears, 24-12. So Hertford at West Craven next Friday night. Elsewhere in 2AA, defending Eastern Regional champ East Duplin traveled to Roanoke Rapids. Our man Robert Ross. You know, he used to work for Pirate Video at ECU. He's proud of his abilities, and this is what he got us tonight. Some nice East Duplin running out, and then Ty Jenkins.
I think he wants us to hire him.
He does, you know, he prides himself in video, but he has to take a huge pay cut to come work for us. So he gets the touchdown pass, but East Duplin couldn't score enough. The one thing he didn't get us, Roanoke Rapids highlights, and Roanoke Rapids did pick up the win.
I think that's a little biased journalism right there, Mr.
34-21. We work for Pirate Video. He only learned one side of the coin on that. Next up for Roanoke Rapids, they'll play the winner of top seed Ledford and Carborough, and that is top seed Ledford. Other half of the 2AA bracket, Washington back in the playoffs.
And they travel to Pine Tops to take on Southwest Edgecombe. I kept playing this bell in the trailer. Everyone was pretty irritated. But here we go. You know,
oh, get off
number 3, Darntrell Council. He's just counseling them, giving some lessons. Well, unfortunately for Washington, Casey Foreman, he's one of their most dynamic players. He was hurt and banged up a little bit, and Council was just too much for him. Southwest Edgecombe ends Washington's season 50-21 was the final.
Next up for the Cougs, they'll take on the winner of Currituck and Croatan. Speaking of Cougars, they played in Broad Creek. First ever home playoff game for Croatan, and boy, they made it count. Started off a little slow, but Currituck would take the lead, and this one would go back and forth. It would go to overtime, but that's when Lewis Reddick and Croatan would win it in OT. They get the victory. Croatan, just their second ever playoff win, 24-21. So they'll be at Southwest Edgecombe next week. A couple other 2A scores to tell you about. It was First Flight falling to North Davidson. Man, they had a long trip, and they fall 49-12, and it was Cummings in a shootout over St. Paul's, 35-34. Okay, Havelock, the number 1 seed in 3A. The reward, Northside Jacksonville, a team they beat earlier this year, and maybe they were looking ahead of them a little bit. Sometimes when you beat a team easily, you struggle just a little bit. They beat them 56-14 a month ago, and they had a lead at halftime, but then hold on a second.
They only scored 7 points in the first quarter.
Watch Jaquarius Conley from Northside. He is a special talent. That's why he's getting scholarship offers, so they cut into that big lead. And then Havelock's going to cough it up, and Mr. Lacey's going to take it back. Cut it to 42-35 in the third quarter, and they were feeling good on the Northside side, but then Havelock said enough of this.
So is this fourth quarter-ish? You know, they start to really pull away. Havelock's like, yeah,
Looked like you running the play last week, 56-34. Havelock does survive in advance, 56-35, so they will move on. Next up, who will they host? It will be, well, we don't know yet, Franklinton and Southern Lee. They had 2 wet field conditions there, so they're going to try and play again tomorrow in the Fayetteville area at 6 o'clock, so Caleb and his coaching staff can go scout out that game.
I bet you they will. West Carteret took its 6-5 record to Rocky Mount to take on the 5th seed Griffins, and you No, wasn't Rocky Mount the team, or was it Rocky Mount Primp that beat Havelock?
Rocky Mount.
Rocky Mount
you were
beat
there
them.
in that
Yeah, I
overtime
was there
game,
a few years ago. Well, this is Lathan Whitlow of West Carteret. 2 forced turnovers for the Patriots in the first quarter, and Barrow's squad's like, all right, we got this. Let's go to the offense. Deshaun Jones with the catch, but watch his hit.
Oh.
Ooh, blindsided, like me. But, yeah, West Carteret couldn't score in the first quarter. They only scored 3 points all game, and it was all because of this guy. Their running back was looking so good for Rocky Mount, and West Carteret's season comes to an end after falling by the final of 34-3.
That says something about Rocky Mount to hold West Carteret's offense to that few points.
I was kind of shocked by that.
Next up for Rocky Mount will be Terry Sanford. The Bulldogs, no problem with Northeast Guilford, 35-7. Jacksonville, the 6th seed in the 3A playoffs, hosted Eastern Wayne, and they were chomping and ready to go at the Cardinals' nest. You know who we haven't seen in a while?
Sinister?
No, we've seen a lot of him. Graham Brinker, who had a little bit of an ankle injury and was hoping to get to 1,000 yards. Well, he gets a big chunk here on a long TD run. And just like that, hey, Travis with the touchdown signal. And Jacksonville runs away with this one in the second half as they get the win. 56-21, so Jacksonville right on pace to do what they do. Next up, they will play as the 6th seed. They will have to travel to Western Alamance to take on the Warriors, who beat Walter Williams 53-7. Eastern Alamance, good night for Alamance counties. They won 49-7, although there was one Alamance team who wasn't very happy tonight. I'm foreshadowing. And Southern Nash, the Firebirds, shut out CB Aycock. Rare to shut out Stevie Brooks' team, but 63-0. They do just that. We're getting started here on the Blitz. A bunch more highlights to show you, but first, how about our fans in the stands? Let's go back out to Vanceboro, where they were having a good time. They were in the glow tonight at West Craven. More highlights coming up, including some overtime thrillers next. Now, do we have all the video attached in this segment, or do we need more? Do I need to come in and attach video?
Do we have all the video for this block?
Play of the week. Okay, so we can probably go from Allen's game. So let's go the game-winning touchdown from, is that what I want to do? Game-winning touchdown from Allen's game? Yeah. So just have Mike pull from Allen's highlights. Excuse me. It was an overtime. So just give me the whole overtime sequence, which would be Josh Holloway scores for Kinston. PAT is blocked. Kinston needs one more defensive stop. Kinston, Aiden Grifton. Okay, thank you. But you said everything else is in. All right, more playoffs to get to here. Now, Kinston finished the regular season 10-0. Their reward?
Their conference rival.
One of their toughest conference rivals, Aiden Grifton, who they beat 28-7 earlier this year, but it was a game much closer than that. They played on a Saturday, and you were there.
Yeah, and coaches, they don't really love that, but they'd rather stay a higher seed anyway than have to drop down and not play their
rather play
rival
at home against somebody they know than go on the road against somebody they don't. Well, this was a tight ball game. AG leading 7-0 in the fourth quarter, and that's when things started to get good. Kieran Hooker, the 65-yard hookup with Dimitri Holmes. What up, Holmes? And he goes in, and we're all tied at 7 apiece. But Balake trying to come back. McLawhorn trying to lead AG into the end zone. Oh, but it falls just short.
OT.
You guys have been in this situation already once this year. Finish this game right here. Hey, you underclass to play for your seniors. Your seniors, you leave it on the field. You understand that? I believe in all of you. I love you. Hey.
And they went to what they call their lucky end of the field in overtime. And Josh Holloway, he scores. That made it 13-7. They had the PAT block. So that left something open for Paul Cornwell's team. Well, here comes AG. They need this, but it is stopped. And Kinston survives and gets the 13-7 win to advance.
We're never down and out. That's one thing we tell our kids, no matter what the score is, no matter what point of the game it is. We believe in playing four-quarter football. It's our slogan. We hang our hats on it. We're never out. And these kids believe, and they show it. Four-quarter football is what it's all about. I told them it was 8 plays. 8 plays. We were fortunate enough to score on our first play on offense. And I told them, hey, the last 4 plays right on defense, you got to leave it on the field, and you got to stop. We win. That's a great job.
Another great game between those two teams. So next up for Kinston, they'll play the winner of James Keenan and Clinton, who just played each other last week. Sound familiar? Don't know why they couldn't have switched the seeds and Whatever. Looks like the same shot that our man Boynton had last week. And looks like the same fullback run that went in last week. And it looks like the same result that happened last week as Clinton won big in the second half and a rare pass by the Dark Horses, and they win big again, ending James Keenan's good season 48-10. Two other scores on that side of the 2A bracket, and it's Northeastern, the number 1 seed. They are rolling undefeated, and Bedingfield escapes East Bladen by 2.
In the other half of the bracket, Southwest Onslow is the 6th seed. They hosted a feisty Bertie squad with a 5-5 record.
And as always, they're going to come right out and just roll right through. They got their big fullback working tonight to score. And then how about some Southwest Onslow defense? As Coach Mizell says, why not go to the air? Well, it's going to be picked off. That's why you don't go to the air against those Stallions. And they had it rolling. Here comes Southwest on a cold night when the referees needed lots of extra clothes. And they score, and again. And look at this big guy go. Southwest wins.
Looks like a tight end right there.
54-0. One of the best players normally plays defensive end, but Charlie Dempsey letting one of the big boys get in and score. Next up for the Stallions, they'll take on the winner of Green Central, South Columbus. The Rams went all the way down to the South Carolina border, and the Stallions of South Columbus took it to them with that running game. Gets around the edge and scores. Green Central, a good year, but some guys missing here at the end of the season, and they fall in this one by the final of 63-28. Just couldn't hold on to the football tonight in key time, so Green Central's season comes to an end. Defending 2A state champ Wallace Rose Hill, your 7th seed, and look out for the Bulldogs now. They're playing very well. They hosted Whiteville.
Coach Motzinger said, we haven't even played our best football yet.
Well, here's that freshman who they brought up towards the end of the year, and he continues to impress. He might be one of the next great ones that you're going to hear about. He scores. Whiteville trying to come back, but it was too little, too late, as Wallace Rose Hill is going to shove it in again, and they're going to get the win. Watch out for those Bulldogs. 44-15, they win. So next up, as a 7th seed, who will they play? They are going to take on Goldsboro. They'll actually host the Cougars, who upset South Granville tonight, 21-20. So more football at Legion Stadium next Friday night, and there is nothing wrong with that. In the 3AA playoffs, D.H. Conley and J.H. Rose both made the postseason partay, but the earliest they would meet up is the Eastern Final. So we got a lot of football to play first, and we have some wild football tonight. D.H. Conley hosted Southern Alamance, and you know, when we were there, we saw some smoke, we saw some running out, we saw a lot of defense, we saw very little offense. Check out Southern Alamance, going to strip it and score to go up early, and they had the lead late in this one, but Nick Hamilton would throw a touchdown pass on the last play of the game. CJ 5K and company, they pull out the win. D.H. Conley gets it 33-30 in dramatic style, so they advance to the next round. Next up, the 5-seed Vikings will take on the 4-seed Cleveland Rams, so they'll go on the road. Grays Creek, no match for the Northern Knights of Durham, and Hillside over Clayton, 16-7. On the other side of the 3AA bracket, Rose traveled all the way to the Triad to take on Eastern Guilford, and back and forth early on, but then the Wildcats would start to pull away. That passing offense of theirs, pretty good. Coming right at you, and there you go. Rose, no chance in this one. They fall, ending their season 52-26. So next up for Eastern Guilford will be Southeast Guilford. They're going to keep it in the county. Dudley a winner, and Topsail falls to their rivals at New Hanover. We still have our Blitz Battle Royale and bonus game to get to, but first, it's our Vidant Wellness play of the night. And why not go back out to Mr. Holloway, who scored the game winner as Kinston survives in overtime. The Blitz, yeah, get flexed and pumped, Coach. We'll be right back. Let's check out the 1A playoffs, where Pamlico was a 2 seed, so they had a bye, and they awaited the winner of their old friends from Northside and Southside, who played for, get a load of this, the 2nd time this year. No Anchor Bowl up for grabs this time, but you know what? They had motorcycles in Bluffs Creek tonight.
That's what you should ride in on the Blitz for.
Yeah, and I'd be injured for the rest of my life. Meanwhile, Northside came out throwing the ball, and look at this. Cut all the way back across, and Northside had the lead just like they did the first time they played, but Jeff Caro says, okay, look, they can do their fancy passing. We got our fancy motorcycles. Let's do a little motorcycle Stretch handoff. Watch this. Breaks the tackles and takes it into Mr. Carter. And just like that, they were up 7-6. And Coach Boyd?
I need some help.
Yeah, he let me call a few plays. They went 3 and out, Ariel. That wasn't good. They tried to punt, and then, oh boy.
Stick to your day job.
They've got issues. Southside would take advantage. The chain crew didn't even have to move because a couple plays later, they would take it in, and Southside gets the win over Northside, so they advance to face Pamlico 44-12. They'll be in Pamlico next week. Yeah, the fans will be bundled up and ready to go.
Hey, maybe it'll be nice out. Why are you thinking that?
South Creek hosted Southeast Halifax, and hey, Southeast Halifax looking to go in and upset them, and they would score this touchdown here, but here come the Cougs as the quarterback is going to take it in for South Creek, and they are going to get the win. South Creek advances 42-14. They'll play at Gates County in the second round.
Fairgrass Charter in the playoffs for the first time in school history. They traveled to Leggett to take on North Edgecombe, and Coach Pascal leading the way there. But this is Mr. Sharp. Mr. Sharp could not be touched as he finds his way into the end zone. The fans were pretty cold, but they were excited about this. Look at this nice little trick play here by Fairgrass. It helped get them close inside the red zone, but they couldn't score, and they lose 56-14.
One other score, North Duplin lost to Bishop McGinnis 25-0, so their season comes to an end, and Washington County gets the win. We'll see you next week.